Hi there, I'm Jason with 8Wire, and this is a demonstration of Conductor, which is our data management application for businesses. The idea behind Conductor is we wanted to solve a really common problem, which is, as a business, what do you do when your data changes? So in this case, the business pain that we're dealing with is a company. You receive data from customers and providers. It goes into your IT systems and then goes on to support, reporting, analytics, and finance, as an example. This is fairly common across all IT systems, but if something changes, so if one of your partners changes their data structure or format, or it's not quite good enough, then your IT system, your database loads will fail, which will then cause your further systems downstream to fail as well. So a small error, a small change has caused a huge issue for your business. What we do is, taking the same model, we sit in between your customers and your data providers, your data sources, and your business itself, so the destination. And in the case of this, we actually manage that data transformation and the method of getting data from one end to the other. So in the same situation, a partner changes their data source slightly. It could be very minor. We actually trap the issue and fix it. And what we do is we know what your system's expecting, and so we make sure that it gets what it expects through. So your IT systems are protected from these changes, and which also means your downstream systems are also protected. Your business processes are protected from these minor changes that occur. So within the application itself, if you log in to the application, this is what you would see. It's a basic screen that has uploads and downloads and your data stores and agents. It's a responsive page, so it scales in and out really nicely. If you go into create a new download or an upload, you just go in and click on new, and then you can give it a name, any name that you want for the upload. And over on the right, what we have are the sort of settings that you can have for this upload. So things like truncation and ambiguity. If, for example, you want us to truncate data that comes through, if it's coming through too long for your systems, we can do that. If the column names, if you have extra columns that come through or fewer columns that come through, we can still ensure that it's the schema, so what the data that you receive matches what you're expecting without causing the load to fail. And down here is a sort of slider. There are a couple of buttons that show if you want us to do a really high matching threshold. So it has to be exact for us to pass the data onto you, or a low one. So in this case, we're going to add it to a new data store. So it goes from, in this case, it's going to be a spreadsheet that's going to go up into our system. And here we can just work through the form and determine what the file is going to be. So it's an Excel spreadsheet. It's going to come from that folder there, and the name of it. Then the idea as well here is using an agent. So an agent is a small program that you can download onto your machine. It's only a few kilobytes, and it allows these to run unattended. So you don't need to go online to sort of kick off a load. You can schedule them to run whenever, and the agent actually goes and manages it for you. So now we're going to upload it to the schema. So what we're doing is we're uploading the file into our system, and we're going to analyze it and build a schema of how it's going to look. And that's what you have here. This is just a verification saying these are the fields that are in the file. We've mapped them to these fields in a schema. If you wanted to do and then you can change data types from here. So if, for example, that field is not actually a number, you can change it to something else, and we'll transform it along the way. And that's it. So that's all the process needed to upload a file into our system. Now to do the same thing for the download, it's pretty much the same. So you give it a name that makes sense. Again, you can specify your criteria here that you want to apply to that download, and go on to next. And from here, you can choose the source for it. So this is the file that you're going to be, the schema rather, that you're going to download from. And again, how do you want the file to be? You want it to be, in this case, it's an Excel file. We could make it into a CSV. That's the folder we want to drop it into. And this is the name of the file. And again, using an agent. Now from here, we confirm that the schema looks the way we want it to look. So these are the schema columns going onto the file that's sent to us. So we just go OK. and we're finished. So this is the process to get a file from a folder. It could be from another server, it could be from another database, into our server and back out again. And that's all it takes. Now I'm going to go and open up the file that we're going to upload, and I'm going to break it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename some columns. So they're it's a common sense error. It's the sort of thing that happens all the time, where someone gets a column name slightly wrong, or someone pastes something slightly incorrectly, but the data type is still the same. It's a very obvious thing for a human to see, but not for a database. I'm also going to make another copy of a column. So I'm going to copy this droid ID column, paste it into a new column. So now I have 6 columns in my file, and one with a new name. So this should be enough to break any load system, any database load. And I'm going to save my changes. And now going back to my upload process, and I'm going to go to the control and do the upload. So now what I've done is the agent has found that file on my machine and uploaded it into Conductor. Now I can see it succeeded with warnings. So this is the difference here, is that what we've actually done is we've built this nice simple report that comes out of it, which says these are the differences between the file that we're expecting and that we received and the schema. So we've matched up these two columns, saying it's the same data type and it's a slightly different name. And at the end of it, you can say, here's what's actually happened is you've got an extra column that's shown up in this file, but we're not passing it through because it'd break your system. And we've also remapped these column names to some expected column names. So what we've done here is, because even though these errors are quite basic and simple, they would crash a database load, but we've actually protected that from happening. And to prove it, I'm going to go into download that file and bring it down. Now if I go in and open the file, so this is in my destination folder, so this is the file that we've now downloaded from Conductor, and I open it in here, and everything's reverted to what it's supposed to be. So the extra column is gone, and the two misnamed fields have been renamed to their correct name, which is sale date and wipe date. Now this is something as well that it doesn't need to be done here entirely. We can schedule this to occur daily, weekly, month, hourly, whenever it's needed. We can also do this in between databases. So the process would be the same, where you determine a source database